Hi, today we're going to talk about makerspaces and how you can start winning your library if that's something that you would like to do. So first of all, what is a makerspace? A makerspace uses the library as a space where you can encourage learning and collaboration through creating and inventing and experimenting. It includes a variety of tools such as technology and machines and arts and crafts and all sorts of things. Makerspaces are for all ages and they come in a variety of forms. This is the website for the Lambton County Library, and they have sort of a banner across the top of their website that states what their makerspace is encouraging, such as sharing and doing and wondering and thinking and all sorts of great things. So what do makerspaces contain? Instead of just making a list of them, I thought I would find some real-life examples on websites that some libraries have already implemented in their makerspaces. So the Edmonton Public Library really focuses on technology and software. So they include things such as sound booths and gaming consoles and projectors and robots. So that's a little bit more specialized. And here are some workshops that they have. So you can see in the center picture there's a green screen with a room for computers, and there's tables are set up for collaboration. They also have a robot workshop. Hitting a little bit closer to home, the Brantford Public Library also has a makerspace. There's a little bit more broad. They include things such as sewing machines, VHF to DVD converters, robots. They also have a media lab and a 3D printer. So these are some sorts of things that are in libraries that already exist. So now to consider starting a makerspace in your own library. You have to consider things such as selection, evaluation, and acquisition. So we're going to get into what those mean in just a moment here. So when selecting materials that should go into your library, you need to consider a variety of things. First of all, what type of library are you? Are you a public library, an academic library, a school library? And then what does your policy say? Do you think that including makerspaces is good to include in your library based on your policy, or does that need to be altered? You should do lots of consultations with other libraries that already exist, so maybe the Edmonton Public Library or Brantford, like we've already seen some examples of. Consider what your budget is. This is a huge one. Makerspaces are not cheap, so maybe getting some grants or donations might help with that. And community need. This is a huge one. So what does the community need and want in your makerspace? Perhaps doing some qualitative and quantitative data collection for this, talking to the patrons, talking to other librarians, what should be included in your library based on that. You also want to consider materials and equipment that is going to be durable, current, and will be usable by the community and patrons. Acquisition. So where will the equipment and material be ordered from? How much of it needs to be ordered for your library? Do you need only one computer or do you need 5? It depends what your focus is based on your policy. And then how long will it take before the equipment and material arrives? So when can this actually be implemented into your library? And finally, evaluation. So this happens at the beginning, so that's sort of where we're evaluating the needs of the community. It also needs to happen on a regular basis. So once the makerspace is implemented into the library, evaluate the material and equipment that's in there. Is there wear and tear on it? Is it still meeting the needs of the community? Do some things perhaps need to be weeded out? Is the material still relevant? Makerspaces are a relatively new implementation into the libraries, so they're very dynamic and constantly changing, so evaluation needs to happen to sort of accommodate these changes. And finally, just consider whether the makerspace will impact the library collection. So consider what workshops will need to be implemented. Maybe some staffing might need to be changed. Will they bring more books that are in the library that relate to makerspaces? Things like that. So these are some resources that could be consulted. It's a little blurry, so I apologize for that, but the reference page is on the next slide that you can use to find these books. These can all be found at Western libraries, which is great. There are tons and tons of different ideas in these books. So here are the references for these books, and best of luck to you starting your makerspace.